Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome back to the OverAchievers podcast, episode 17. Why are we here? Just to suffer. Joining me today for technically the third time, because our first shot at this kind of messed up, thank you Audacity for that one, is the always wonderful, always talented Voodoothur, a.k.a. David. Welcome, David.
Hello, folks. Words that kill, won't you speak them to me?
How are you?
Very swell, thank you. Really I'm excited to do this again.
Yeah, me too. I was not expecting our next session to be quite so soon, but that's all right.
What a joy.
For those of you watching or listening at home, if I sound a little different, I have a bit of a sore throat. It's fine. But yeah, just if I sound different or sound strange for any reason, that is why. Okay, that being said, David, what game are you going to be showcasing for us today?
So we're going to be talking about the follow-up to Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. This time it's going to be the Phantom Pain. That's the PS4 version. It released 8 years ago now, in September of 2015. It's a stealth action game where you play as the legendary Big Boss as you seek to hunt down those that destroyed your former mercenary organization alongside your comrades in the current one, the Diamond Dogs.
Okay. Now, again, for the audience at home, I have never fully played a Metal Gear Solid game. I've played a handful of a few of them, and even that was just the intro. Even Metal Gear Solid 5 I do own, but I've only played as far as the first mission, got completely lost for 2 hours, and decided, it's not for me.
That's all the appeal, man.
So, I'm coming at this very much with the perspective of an outsider to the series. But funnily enough, I did plan this episode to come out on the release date of the Metal Gear Solid are they calling it just Master Collection?
Master Collection Volume 1, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so it is the remastered of Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3, in hopes of just kind of being a tribute to those games, as many of them, when they originally launched, did not have achievements. That being said, David, what is your experience with the Metal Gear Solid franchise?
So I have been exposed to it since I was about 12. Like, my uncle had a PS2 that he left at my grandparents' house, and one summer I got to sit down and play the damn thing. I'm like, oh, what the heck is this? This is pretty damn addictive. So that was my first exposure, and I think since then I've followed it semi-fervently. Kind of trailed off as we reached the end of Kojima's tenure there, but yeah, I've been
that's totally understandable.
Close to lifelong fan at least, so.
Okay. Now, actually, on the note of Kojima's unfortunate departure, and Konami's terrible handling, did you ever play Metal Gear Solid Survive?
I never did. No, I looked at the trailer, I was like, I know what they're going for here, and I want no part of this.
That's very fair. Okay.
It's got some neat concepts,
no.
but yeah.
I need to clarify something because I can't remember. Is Metal Gear Solid 5 supposed to be a prequel to Metal Gear Solid 1? Because I've heard fan theories.
It does take place beforehand. It actually takes place before Metal Gear 1. To be precise, so.
Oh, so is there a difference between a Metal Gear and a Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, well, I mean, they all star Solid Snake. Metal Gear takes place, I forget where I think it's the Outer Heaven Uprising, where you play as Solid Snake, just like you do in Metal Gear Solid, and you take down Big Boss in that one. And then again in Metal Gear 2. And then I believe Metal Gear Solid was almost like a revival of the series for the PlayStation there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now.
So it continues to
clarify And just to clarify for those, again, watching, listening at home, Metal Gear just refers to, like, the big robots they have, right?
The bipedal tank, yeah.
Why is it always bipedal?
Hey, it's cool, man. That's it. It's just like Hal says in one of them.
Like, I don't know, like they look cool, don't get me wrong. I was never the biggest fan of X, so it never appealed to me personally, but nature and evolution have shown us bipedal is a very restrictive form of movement, and when you have the freedom to make a tank of any shape or variety, there are much more efficient ways that we've even seen in, like, Armored Core 6.
Yeah. And one of the scientists in the games goes into it and says, because it looks cool, that's why.
Oh my, of course, Kojima,
yep.
Of course.
I think they addressed the issues with the bipedal locomotion in Metal Gear Solid 5, in fact, with some very lovely reasoning there, so.
Okay then. Yeah, it sounds like it. Can you give us just a quick breakdown of the gameplay for those who are maybe listening but not watching?
Yeah, it's mostly stealth action, so it involves you sneaking around, taking out enemies as, well, as stealthily as possible, but in a departure from the last ones. It actually encourages you to maybe think outside the box and, hey, if you want to go all guns blazing, you can do, but there will be consequences. There'll be consequences to a stealthy route as well. So it really promoted freedom of gameplay. And a huge part of it is like base building. You're kind of always developing your army, your assets, your tools, and you're the base from which you deploy.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I know I've already asked you this, but since we last recorded, like 2 days ago, have you had any interest in checking out the Splinter Cell series, or that, like, its mix of action and stealth gameplay?
What's the word? Let's say I know I played it once, and I was somewhat interested when they were showing off the gameplay for one that was, oh goodness, it must have been 2009. I think I was only interested because they incorporated the titles and credits or mission parameters into the environment. I thought that was clever, but beyond that, no, I've not had any real interest.
Oh, that would have been, I think, Splinter Cell Conviction.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, because I remember those title screens. Yeah, they were really like heavily and well integrated into the set dressing, which I thought was awesome.
I thought that was very clever. Yeah.
That one was brutal in terms of like the quote unquote interrogation scenes.
Oh, I don't think I could stomach that.
Well, it's like, it didn't show much blood or anything, but it's like, oh, this guy isn't talking, take him over to the urinal and just, like, smash his head through the urinal, or smash his head through the sink, or smash his head into a piano. It was a lot of just head smashing into miscellaneous objects in the environment as a way to encourage them to talk.
A lot of styrofoam, what's the word? Fixtures.
Yeah, and it's like, well, if you want them to talk, why are you potentially, A, damaging their brain, C, breaking their jaw? How are they going to talk at that
It's point? The WWE method of information extraction.
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway, I also wanted to ask, because this is something I thought about, would you ever want, like, a spin-off series, if it was helmed by Kojima and Kojima Productions, that was just, like, a base-building game, kind of like a farming sim, similar to Stardew, or the numerous others that are coming out, but, again, with the flavor of Metal Gear Solid, and just an expanded, what's the word I'm looking for? Repertoire of building mechanics.
I would be interested. I mean, stranger things have happened in Metal Gear. Of course, they had Metal Gear Acid, which was the card-based game for the PSP, Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2, and I enjoyed that. So, it was stealth, and also it was tile-based, and you used a variety of different cards to execute your actions. So I'm always up for, like, strange gameplay styles with franchises.
Okay. Why would they make a card game based on... What?
Hey, they were like, hey, we've got this strange new portable console, let's do something different, and they did something different. It was it was really neat. I remember the second one came with 3D goggles that you placed over the PSP.
Huh?
It almost like an Eclipse viewer.
What in the actual hell?
Yeah, it was a different time, man. They could take some risks.
Apparently, oh my god. Now I kind of want this. Okay, you know what? Now okay, this is a complete spin-off. Have you ever played the games Hand of Fate or Hand of Fate 2?
I have not, no.
Okay, so they're little, like, indie action brawlers, third-person action games where the cards you take into the encounter are, like, your weapons, your armor, and what skills you have for that particular combat encounter.
I see.
It's very much a roguelike style, but now all I'm picturing is a base-building sim to help you get new cards, and then semi-randomly generated missions where you have to take Snake, but the only equipment, allies, and stuff you have is the cards that you had in your deck.
Get this man aligned to Konami, man. We need this. We need an Acid 3.
Oh my god.
And I'd be down for Konami to, like, make a new Metal Gear game if they handled it well, but...
Do you think they would, though? Like, how much of...
I'll have to wait for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and I'll have to see how they handled that in some fashion. I mean, because a lot of Kojima's issues, I think, stem from his inability to curtail himself, so potentially, if they got the right person to continue with the vision, it could work, but...
Okay.
That being said, he brings a lot of interesting flavor to the franchise. It is his after all.
Yeah,
so.
I can imagine. Now, I'm curious, as, like, from your perspective as a fan, how much do you think could be done without his, say, I guess, uncontrolled creative genius, versus how much of it can be attributed to just Konami being able to interpret and put it into an actual game?
Ooh, I mean, because we've got a lot of material to work with, and we have a lot of tone and style to reference. But you're right.
Hmm.
You got to wonder how much of that can only be done by him specifically. Eh?
Well, I mean, look at Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. That was made by Platinum. It wasn't helmed by Kojima, as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that was his ideas.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know if he took just a supervisory role on that or what, but I mean, that was a roaring success for me, so.
So yeah, I'd be curious to see what they do with it, because clearly they didn't care with Metal Gear Solid Survive. That's pretty evident.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you couldn't find the right person or the right fan community to really build out something.
Yeah, if they can do
proper.
it with Sonic, I think they can do it with Metal Gear. They just need to keep a vision in check and give it that vibe, eh? So.
That would make sense.
Which is why
Okay,
I've got Death Stranding 2 to look forward to for the time being. We'll get his craziness
fair,
there.
and
Yeah.
there will be another independent episode on Death Stranding and many other games yet to come with David. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that.
Oh,
That being
baby.
said, we should probably get back to the game at hand here. How many achievements does the Phantom Pain have?
It has 43 achievements all told.
Okay. So about the average. I found that throughout my experience in doing this, the average is anywhere between 40 to 50.
Yeah,
You'll
seems
get
about
some
right
outliers
for the
with
ones
more,
I've
some
done.
with
Yeah.
less. Okay. Now, another spin-off question, just because I didn't want to. I wanted to derail this even further. What stopped you from getting all achievements in Ground Zeroes?
Oh no, I got all achievements in Ground Zeroes.
Oh,
I did, yeah.
okay. Did you want to make this a combo episode or not?
Oh, we can do, yeah. It's like I said,
Okay, all right,
I can
quick.
let me pull up the information on Ground Zeroes because there's a lot of fun missions in that. But I mean, that
Sorry, it's just when you said you'd gotten all for Phantom Pain, I just kind of assumed you hadn't for Ground Zeroes.
no, that was my. I think I might have downplayed it because there's no platinum involved, but I certainly did get all achievements. So
Was this like when you first started playing Metal Gear Solid 5? I should say I'm just gonna call it Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes because they're both 5. Was it in your first playthrough? Did you try to go for all achievements, or did you kind of decide later on that you were gonna do it?
no, I think that was my intention. Having went through Ground Zeroes, got to grips with the gameplay. I think it was. I kind of had that inspiration from Ground Zeroes that I was going to all achievement this. Because initially I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy Ground Zeroes, and it turns out I did, and I did enough to get all achievements. And I was like, well, you know what? Let me carry this fever into the Phantom Pain.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, have you returned to Phantom Pain since getting all achievements?
I think I may have done briefly, just to like mess around with some DLC and fiddle around as I used to do in open world games as a kid, but
Okay.
yeah, not quite as extensively. I may have the chance to soon though, so or eventually.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, I'm laughing only. We're laughing only because we already know the answer. How long did it take you to get all the achievements?
So, with a bit of research, it took me 311 hours all told. And that was...
It's just insane
I
to
know.
me.
That was from the launch day until 2.5 months later in November 2015. And like I said, I know
Okay.
that seems
Now-
quite astounding. It was astounding to me because I was convinced, like I said in the last time, I'd only taken 150. I'd taken double that and a wee bit, so...
Now, for the viewers at home, can you just give us a breakdown of kind of what you'd be doing in those 300 hours?
So, obviously, I'd be going through the main story. I'd be going through the 50-something side ops in the game. In addition to that, I'd be recruiting soldiers, developing my army, trapping animals, developing my base, like sort of developing gear, you name it, that sort of thing, and also procuring tapes and extra intel, which also further the plot and contribute to that 100% goal.
Okay, fair enough. Now, the only thing that seems out of place to me there is the animals. And I know we talked about it a bit in episode 10, Eye of the Beholder. Link for that will be in the description down below. Please check it out. David was awesome in that episode. But what is up with the animals?
Let me take, because in my memory, I only still know them as cosmetic, but there is a chance that they contribute in sort of cosmetic ways, so emblems and camouflage sort of things.
Okay, because I know they do have an achievement tied to them, but yeah, I didn't know if they made a gameplay difference.
I couldn't recall it. Like I said, I imagine they gave you some kind of decal or asset to use in the emblem creator.
Okay.
And I think they give you I think they give you GDP as well when you collect them.
Okay, and that was the currency.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be getting to that one soon. It's just because you said let's see, so I was kind of just letting you do your thing.
Oh, that's my bad. Yeah, no, yeah, from what I can tell, it's only GDP points and for the bragging rights, eh?
Okay, so just currency and like, hey, look at my cool thing.
Look at my cool things, yeah.
What we're all here for is the achievement.
Yes. I think each animal you met, you get a significant amount of GDP for, depending on their rarity, so...
Okay. Fair enough. Now, okay, so... I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. Rather, you know what? No, I'll come back to this one. What were the hardest and easiest achievements for you? Let's start with the easiest.
So easiest, like I mentioned, was the one you obtained by completing the prologue. Now, I would gotten into the fact that, hey, maybe some people, you know, dipped before the end of the prologue, but again, for me, that was just a given. That was a free gimme for the player there.
Okay.
And that apparently that was been achieved by 90.56 players, so you're not wrong. Several people have dipped prior, so...
And on Steam, it's achieved by 89.3 players.
Incredible.
So on average, about close to 10% of people don't finish the prologue.
Unfathomable. I can't believe it.
Now, for context, I have a whopping 3 achievements. I have the prologue, the captured an outpost or guard post, and completed the Phantom Limb mission.
Look at this fancy guy. Look at this.
But there's a significant drop-off between so capture an enemy outpost is 84%, and then Phantom Limb is 78%. The next one is 72%, which then drops down to 67% and just gets lower and lower.
Wow, yeah, I'm looking at the all of the achievements you get for all of these story missions. Of course, it's like 90, then 77, then 58, then 48.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, even though it's the easiest, there is still a not insignificant number of people who have not.
That's quite a few, yeah, for how much this game sold, you know. So.
Okay, now moving on, what do you think is the hardest achievement?
Hardest would be getting all of the missions with an S rank. And for me, that was
what do you have to do to get the S rank?
So you have to go through every mission, and I think it might include every side op as well, with an S rank, which is tied to time, funnily enough. Not necessarily stealth and weapon retention, it's all about time.
So you're effectively, you have to be a speedrunner.
You have to whip in, whip out, that's it.
Man, I know a lot of people that are good at whipping it out, just not always the best times.
His name is Snake, after all.
Oh god. So why is it so tied to completion, like speed of completion, and not like, say, enemies captured or objectives met? Why do you think it's just gotta be a speedy boy?
Beats me. Like I say, there are points involved in no kills and no combat alerts, but you can breeze through all of that, and this must be down to the developers just by speeding it. That is the biggest factor in obtaining that rank.
So another follow-up question: do you think the fact that Konami publishes and sometimes develops Sonic, that had an influence on their criteria for what should achieve an S rank?
Oh, beats me, man. Am I right in thinking it's Sega that publishes Sonic, or do they...
Oh, you know what? You are right.
Yeah. Trick question, we got him!
Wow. I'm gonna chalk that up to me being just like a little bit sick and a little bit out of it.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you.
Podcast. Okay, sorry. Wow. That's... Oh boy. Okay. So, which is the faster route, do you think, then? Is it going completely stealth, or is it just going in guns blazing and just shooting everyone who gets in your way?
I think there's a combination of techniques depending on what mission you're on. There is one mission where you can just sit in the chopper, take out these radar installations, and dip, and that's it. Everyone knows you're there, and everyone's firing at you. You can kill the enemies. Like there's bound to be some collateral damage there. but you just go in, breeze through these towers, and that's it. So there is a combination of factors, yeah. If there's a gimmick called a reflex mode, which sort of sends you into slow time if an enemy spots you. If you turn that off, that automatically nets you 10,000 points towards that total too, so...
Okay, and how many points do you think on average you would need for...
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
It may vary per mission, but there's an
Okay.
easy sort of freebie right there for you, if you're skilled enough, right?
What do you think were the least and most fun? Let's go with least first, so we can always kind of ramp it up a bit.
So least, I would say, is the Prosperity achievement, and that involves attaining what I thought was a large amount of GMP, of 10 million. And I have since discovered, thanks to our prior recording, that is really a drop in the pan compared to what you spend on the base.
I'm sorry, did you say a drop in the pan?
Yes.
Okay, I've always heard the expression as it's a drop in the bucket, implying like it's a drop within this large, usually vertical, not so much horizontal container. Whereas a pan to me strikes me as much more shallow.
I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, yes, drop in the pan. And for me, to explain the context of that, a pan to me is like a saucepan, so a pot for North America.
See, now to me, like a saucepan is just when I think of saucepan, I think like the wider but more shallow version of a pot.
Okay, curious.
So what would you call that then? Like if it was like the kind of wider but then the more shallow, you kind of like you would make pancakes or like steak.
I think I would still call it a pan. I think I would still call it a pan there.
Okay, so you just call a pan either a pan or sometimes you call a pot a pan.
Yeah, I think if I have a big thing, I might call it a pot. I think it depends on the the width.
Okay.
Depends on the diameter of the utensil in question, right? So.
Okay.
But getting away from that, yeah,
that threw me off so much.
Like, what is this guy talking about? This man's
I
crazy.
was like, hang on, like I kind of figured you meant the same thing, but I wasn't sure.
Anyway, yeah, let's say it's prosperity, and I think it was only it only ranks as the least fun for me is because I did it early when I really could have just gone through the game and attained that much anyway.
Fair enough.
And it was just the grind of going into a certain mission and faulting all of these containers and resetting and going back in, so it was my own fault, but that was it.
Do you think it would be easier to get more currency on like a later mission, or was this like the optimal way to get it?
I don't, I think just because I was so eager to get it, I don't think it was optimal. I think I just wanted that achievement now. It was just, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I think I would usually just let that be part of the flow of the gameplay.
Okay.
But I may have also been doing it in order to develop my base further as well, so I may have just achieved it as a secondary objective.
Makes sense, okay. So, okay, and now how far into the game were you when you decided to start grinding all this currency? Like, were you post-game? Were you mid-game?
I was mid-game, I think.
Okay.
I think I was going for an RPG-esque grind so I could coast. Equipment-wise, I think that may have been my motivation, yeah.
Oh, okay, I understand now. Okay, so what was the most fun for you then?
So the most fun was, again, the S-rank achievement. Just because you get to really work the old noodle and get a lot of fun out of missions that you would ordinarily just stick to one playstyle for.
That makes sense.
Like, if I had my way, it'd be all stealth, but with this, you had to think, oh crap, I have to get over here quickly. Oh, perhaps I can obtain another achievement or a mission objective to add to the point total, so perhaps what I lack in time I make up for in skill,
That makes sense. Now, would you call yourself kind of like a score chaser, like someone who wants to get the S rank on a lot of missions if it's available, or did you kind of because of the achievement?
I think it was just my love for this game in particular. That was my motivation. Okay. I don't ordinarily try and go for that, but I think that the gameplay lent itself to my enjoyment of that.
That makes sense. Have you ever played? Oh god, Devil May Cry. That's the series I'm looking for.
I have played. Yes, I've played all of those. Yeah.
Okay, so are you a score chaser in that one too, or is it an example of you just didn't love it as much, so you weren't vibing? You weren't like, I gotta get that triple S.
Well, I think the game is fun enough on its own without having to get necessarily an S. But I know in Devil May Cry 5 they lock the vocals of the soundtrack behind those ranks, right? So in that one I was super amped to get it. I was like, yes, okay, if I do well, I'm getting this wonderful soundtrack, which is already good, but when you add the vocals to it, that gets it even more pumped up, right? So.
Okay, interesting. Fair enough, fair enough. It's nice to know that you follow your passion, but you don't just do it for everyone.
Oh, no, not every single one, no.
Okay. So, what do you think is the rarest achievement on the list for Phantom Pain?
I think the rarest is the one I just mentioned again, is that executed one, eh?
Okay, I can see that.
Yep. Because you may not enjoy grinding the same mission over and over again. If you're not doing too well, you might get a bit sweaty and decide to quit, eh? So.
Now, is there like a mission select screen, or do you have to do it just like on a brand new save file?
No, there is a mission select screen. Yeah, you can choose anyone you want, and if you're in the post game, anytime you want. So.
Okay, that's good. Now, does that also include the side ops? Because you were mentioning that the mission.
I believe it does. I think you can include the side ops in that as well.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Cool. Because, yeah, there's some games where that is a major problem with, like, either minimal mission select or the mission select doesn't count towards achievements, or, like, no new game plus mode. It's rough.
No, they were very forgiving in that aspect, so.
Okay. That's good to hear. So, is there an achievement that you would think you would want to remove from the game?
I would remove infiltration only because it relies on the multiplayer side of things being up, where you have to infiltrate someone else's base, right? So if they take down those servers, that's you getting out of it. So only for the practical purposes of being denied an all achievement status, eh?
Okay, that makes sense. Now, is there a way, like, if the servers are still online, for you to designate who you invade? Like, could you and your buddy just set this up where your buddy plays, and then you invade their base, and vice versa?
You potentially could. I think you could cheese it that way, yeah.
But okay, so it's not just like a random miscellaneous matchmaking. You can potentially choose.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong. But again, I didn't have anyone else who was playing this alongside me at the time, but I think you can.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, is there an action or way of playing that you think should have an official achievement?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and of course I prefer the stealthy way, which is kind of at odds with the approach the game takes, which is do it any way you want. But I would like to see a no alerts achievement for each sort of main mission, for example. That would be fun, but it would take away the philosophy behind the game, so I understand why there wasn't one, right?
I'm surprised there isn't one already.
Yeah. Like, it adds to your point total for S ranks, so I know there's certainly that, so it ties into it. But again, you can make it up for that with time and whatever else they say.
And just to kind of, piggyback off your suggestion, I think what might be cool as well for those players who don't want to go stealthy, have an achievement where you don't go longer than, say, I don't know, a minute without an alarm being set.
Once you constant havoc, yeah.
In an enemy area, because I know there's a lot of spaces between enemy encampments sometimes. But yeah, just like this constant alert status.
And I could see that being a lot of fun, even if it's just like between mission mode, because you can traverse the map of Afghanistan and what I assume to be Zaire in free mode. So it potentially like sustaining an alert for a set amount of time would be neat.
And then too, you could have just like an achievement for getting both of them. And again, I don't know the lore, so just pick some characters that mirror each other, whether that's twin snakes, just I know that's one of the game titles, or characters that would embody the ideas of either always alert or always stealth.
I can see that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Again, I'm coming out with this with a completely outsider perspective, so I can't really comment on a lot of the inside jokes, or like, oh, this would be a cool Easter egg or something like that.
Oh, we'll get into that with Ground Zeroes. There's a few in Phantom Pain, but Ground Zeroes really laid it on thick with the fan service, eh? So.
Okay. Interesting. So are you able to soft lock yourself out of any achievements?
I was never able to. I don't think you can.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. It may be possible to.
Fair enough. Now, how many times do you need to play the game to get all achievements?
So, the game ends in a permanent state of post-game, which includes a few new missions and the ability to play all the old missions, right? So, you're not technically starting over, but you will have to go through missions over and over again in order to get that S rank. So it could be a few times, technically.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, I meant to bring this up earlier. I did look up on howlongtobeat.com, how long it should take to get all achievements. Out of everyone they polled, they did say 180 to 200 hours, which to me is still bananas, but it does put that 300-hour mark in better perspective, so you don't just think that David was just twiddling his thumbs for like 100 hours.
I've been role-playing the entire time. I want to throw
that out there. Just for our audience, they don't think, oh, he spent 300 hours. There's no way it's that long. Like, it is genuinely close to that long.
It can be that long. It can be.
And, of course, people lie on the internet. They say, oh, I did it, 150 hours instead of the, 250 they probably spent. So, I think 300 is a much more accurate picture than some people would care to admit on how long it takes.
It threw me for a loop when I looked it up again. I was like, well, I did this 8 years ago. How long did that take me? Oh, crap.
So, does the game give you any sort of in-game rewards or anything for the actions to get the achievements, if not the achievements themselves?
Certainly the actions, because I believe in the process of getting those achievements, you're also obtaining costumes and new equipment, that sort of thing. So yes, I believe you are rewarded through the game itself, but not necessarily for the achievements.
Okay. What kind of rewards do you get then for the actions that you take?
Ooh, what do you get? I think there may be costume options. I know that. What else do we get? I think it's also music tapes, that sort of thing.
Okay. Now, don't the costumes just amount to different hats for Snake?
I think they do, but they also have a function as well, right? Yeah, I believe some prevent alerts if you want to take things a bit easy, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, doesn't the chicken hat do that?
I think it does, yeah.
Okay, I know miscellaneous bits and pieces because of the internet, so I'm not 100% versed in this.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think if I ever used the chicken hat. I remember really enjoying the look of it, but I can't remember using the damn thing, so...
Isn't there an achievement for putting it on, an achievement that makes fun of you?
I don't think there is. I wish there was.
I know there's a lot of games like that, where the game will make fun of you for going in, an easy mode.
Oh, there's the one in Nier Automata where you get the achievement for looking up 2B's skirt at some point.
Oh god, yeah.
if you somehow get past the camera trick that she kicks the camera away, they're like, oh, you did it.
There's also one in Lollipop Chainsaw for that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, that's cracking. Oh my goodness, because I know 2B actively kicks the camera away, right? If you try to look up. I guess you can break past it and get one. So
what about Snake? Is there an achievement for looking at him in booty shorts or something?
I don't know. You're looking at his booty the whole time, which Meg's, my partner, frequently complimented him on. But I think that's just that's
oh no,
that's something to enjoy in and of itself. There's no achievement for that. You're just getting it.
Fair enough.
It's there.
I'm just glad they didn't put one in for staring at quiet for too long.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and that's
because
that's the sort of thing I would expect if achievements were... If this came out in the PS2 era, and achievements were there for that, because... I know you can make I think in Metal Gear 2 you can make hostages uncomfortable for staring at them while you're sneaking around.
Oh. Because I know you can get a line of dialogue over your comm thing. I don't remember which Metal Gear it is. When you open the lockers and there's that pinup girl on the inside if you stare at her.
Oh, that's right. They call you.
They'll be like, Snake, you gotta get back to work.
Focus on the mission,
it's
Snake.
Why? Why?
Because that's...
Oh god, so there's nothing like that in this game?
Thankfully not, no. There isn't.
Good.
I think it came out at the right time for us to move past that a bit, except for Quiet, obviously, so...
Okay. Okay. So do the achievements themselves feel rewarding in what you do?
I would say just getting to play the game itself was rewarding, and having the achievements be piggybacking on that is in itself a reward. But I don't think there are any that kind of obstruct your enjoyment of the game, which for me is all I would ask for out of an achievement there. So
that's fair. Okay. Now, do you think does it feel like Kojima or the devs cared about the achievements?
Again, I think they've never felt like there was something to be cared about. I think the best you can hope for with an achievement is this impeding my fun in any way.
Okay.
So in that sense, I think they cared about the player when they weren't putting in arbitrary achievements, like, oh, shoot this amount of bullets, or kill this amount of guards, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do any of them have, like, interesting names, or, like, Easter egg names, anything like that?
And I think, looking at it, I don't think they do. They're all pretty generic in terms of what they're named. There's nothing real humorous or Easter egg-y, I should say.
Okay. Because I know that's how some developers, like, they show their pride and passion. They put in, like, an interesting, like, Easter egg name or, like, a picture. Again, we did discuss some of the pictures of the Metal Gear Solid 5 achievements over on the episode 10 of the podcast. Please go check that out. And I'll make sure to put this at the beginning of the episode as well. Make sure you check out David on A, the art table, and B, Voodoothur on almost all social medias. He's a phenomenal artist.
Oh,
please, by all means, give his work a good look over, and potentially hit him up if you're interested in a commission. That being said, all commissions are between you and him. I'm in no way involved. So please understand that David reserves every right to decide when, how much, and if he does your commission.
Beauty.
That being said, let's get back to it. So we already know that it requires you to 100% in the game to get all achievements.
That's correct, yeah.
Do the achievements feel unique for, like, the genre of the stealth action, or in stealth action genre, or even the Metal Gear genre as a franchise as a whole?
I would not know, given this is I think apart from Rising, this is the only other Metal Gear game I've played with achievements.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, I think
what
they seem...
about Ground Zeroes?
Ground Zeroes, actually, they're pretty much identical, yeah. It's, clear all missions, S rank, that sort of thing. Okay. Ground Zeroes got to play with itself. It got to play with what you do in the game a little bit, so that there's some sort of more unique ones in there, but not by much, so...
I'm looking forward to discussing that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Did you use any guides for Phantom Pain, or did you kind of just do it all pro bono?
Oh, no, I used a couple of guides, mostly from Gosu Noob, which was quite handy, and then I think for the Obtain All Animals achievement, there was a YouTube video which included placement of traps, or what you needed to do to get every specific animal, because some are quite tricky.
Fair enough. What do you think is the most difficult animal to find?
The most difficult, I'm assuming it's the most difficult because it's the most rewarding, is the Tsuchinoko, the cryptid of Japan, which you, for some reason, find in Africa.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like a fat snake, if you've ever seen one.
Yes, I know a little bit because I'm a filthy weeb. Why would you find it in Africa, though?
Beats me. I mean, you can find it in the Russian jungles in 3, I believe. So.
What? Huh?
It's just there, it's a little a wee Easter egg for you, a wee chubby Easter egg.
Why not just set it like a mission in the Japanese mountains, and that's where you find it? Like, it's a Japanese cryptid. Why would you put it in another? Like, Russia makes more sense to me than Africa because they're not that
close, far away, yeah,
sir. So it's just what?
A cryptid will do what it wants, really. It's like the Trooper Cover, man.
So.
Yeah.
So how do you capture this cryptid? Like, is it one of the ones that you have to, like, trank, or is it when you can just set a trap?
It's one you have to set a trap for, and I think you have to set it in a specific place within this African map.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some very precise points on the map which you need to put a trap in. It's not a very broad area.
Okay. So has this whole experience, getting 100%, getting all achievements, changed the way you look at the game? Like, do you regret doing it? Are you happy you did it?
No regrets. I mean, it got me to look at it a bit differently than I normally would a Metal Gear game. Like, I don't always go for the most sort of rewarding way to play, like whether it's point-wise or title-wise at the end, because you often get like a little rank at the end of each one. So it got me to think a little differently as to how I would play a Metal Gear game, which is a lot of fun.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. Now, this is arguably the most important question. would you recommend others go for the all achievements? And what kind of players do you think would or would not enjoy the experience?
I would recommend it wholeheartedly. Like, there's not a ton of AFK grind, really, and if you don't enjoy, I don't want to say grind, but if you don't enjoy honing your skills on these missions over and over again, then it's not really for you. If you just like to go through the story and be done, then that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a love
Fair
for the
enough.
mechanics of the game and the way the enemies behave.
Yeah. Now, do you think someone who is not, like, deep into the Metal Gear franchise, or deep into the lore, or maybe is experiencing this game for, like, as their first entry, do you think they would enjoy it, or would you recommend something else for them?
It depends on what they get out of it. I think they would enjoy it. It's
Okay.
like I said, it's a departure from other Metal Gear games. You have a lot of freedom of movement and how you approach a mission, so not being strictly tied to, sneak through here, don't get seen, I think would
Gotcha.
open that
Okay.
up to as much people as possible, right? So,
Fair enough. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for watching and or listening up to this point. This is going to be the halfway mark of what is turned into a two-part episode, which is awesome. So please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, the YouTube stuff. If you're listening on the podcast, again, subscribe there. Check out the YouTube video. Same with the YouTube video if you're watching there. We are on every major podcast platform if you want to check us out on the go. Please don't forget to check out Voodoothur. All of his links will be in the description down below. Again, super amazing work. Check out the art table if you're maybe you want to see like a hand-picked showcase, so to speak. But seriously, go on there, hit him up, and get that communication started. With all that being said, let's talk about Ground Zeroes.
oh baby.
So, can you give us just a brief descriptor of Ground Zeroes and how it may be different or maybe similar to Phantom Pain?
So it's very similar gameplay-wise, obviously. It was kind of the tech demo or sneak preview, if you will, of Phantom Pain, but it also plays into
Pun intended or no?
Oh, fully intended, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's set actually 9 years prior to Metal Gear Solid, to the Phantom Pain, and it actually follows Snake as you infiltrate a much smaller map this time, an American black site, similar to Guantanamo Bay, where you're trying to rescue comrades of yours from the previous game, Peace Walker.
Okay? How many achievements does this one have?
Let's see. Obviously, it wouldn't have as many. I think it has 15, actually,
Okay.
with no platinum for PlayStation players.
Which is so weird to me.
Strange, I know. They're most like, they can't just have a platinum with 13 or 15 measly trophies. They have to earn it with 40-something, right?
So I see here on Steam it does say 16. I'm not sure if it's different from PlayStation though, because it can vary by platform.
Yeah, I think there may be some difference between the two, eh?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, I don't know if Steam includes like congrats, you got all achievements achievement, but
It doesn't look like it, no. It's just like, hey, do certain things or collect all the things.
fascinating.
Okay. So, it'll be a much shorter one, that's fine. Was this your first time playing, or like when you started going for all achievements, or did you kind of play it, put it down, and then pick it up again?
I bought it on sale for the PC and was astounded that it ran on my then 6-year-old laptop. And
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is amazing, fantastic. And it wasn't until I think of like a few months after it when, at the behest of my partner, we got a PlayStation 4. I was like, oh, I can play this on the big screen now and enjoy some achievements at the same time. So that was when I got into getting all the achievements for it.
So, have you returned to return to it since then, or?
I may have gone into just dick about from time to time, but I mean, this was, goodness, like 9 years ago now, right? So I think I may have, like the Phantom Pain, set the end of my time with it at all achievements, and then sat waiting patiently for Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain, eh? So
How long did it take you all to get all achievements?
I do not know. What's the average on Steam there, mate?
Let me have a quick
Let's
look.
have a shifty, yeah, because this I didn't look up, funnily enough, but I don't think it took quite as long. least
I mean, 16 versus 43, I would hope
I should hope not, yeah.
It says between 15 to 20 hours.
Okay, you know what, for me, let's do 30 to 40. I imagine I was playing a lot of this for fun as well, too.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, 340 between all of them, roughly.
Probably, yeah, it looks like it.
Oh my god.
That's value for money, baby.
Wow, okay. Okay. So what do you think the hardest and easiest ones were for you? Well, let's go with easiest then hardest.
So easiest, let's see. Because I think, similarly to the last one, you get a trophy just for getting, I think it's about halfway through the titular mission in this one. So I believe that would have been the easiest for me.
Fair enough. Now, funny enough, I have also played this one.
Oh, excellent.
And I have, again, somehow, only 3 achievements.
Some consistency.
So I have cleared the, quote, Ground Zeroes mission, clear a side op or extra op, and reunite with Chico or Paz.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have.
So the 3 most common ones.
I don't know how I only got 3.
Well, I think the remainder of the missions are actually tied into extra objectives. So I don't know how many of those you did or how many other missions you did. So
well, according to my Steam achievements, none.
Yeah. So, but I know there's like extra ops, and I think it's specific mission parameters you have to get. So it's not necessarily just doing those missions. It's doing a certain thing within those missions, right? So.
Well, so the most common one here on Steam is reunite with Chico or Paz.
Yep.
At 75.3. Complete the mission, 64.3. Immediately drops to clear a side op or extra op at 33.9. And then drops again to complete all XOF unit patches at 12.3.
Fascinating.
And then, it's a more, it hangs around the 12%, but it gets lower. But yeah, there's a drop between 79, 64, 33, 12.
Yep. Because I think some of these achievements for this one especially are like a collectathon almost.
Okay. Interesting. It's so weird. It's such a disparity.
Like I say, I think hardest for me, I believe, again, would be the S rank ones. And there's one where there's a mission where you rescue Kojima himself. Oh my god! I think just trying to S rank that was the hardest for me, I believe.
Okay. Now, is that also just reliant on speed?
Oh no, this one almost acted like a rail shooter. So you took the same amount of time, and I think it might have just had something to do with what you destroyed and who you killed in the in the op. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Interesting. So, I'm going to ask you some more questions because again, I was totally out to lunch on this. Who are Chico and Paz? Because I understand they're important characters for the story, but I have no idea who they were.
Oh, see, this is where I'm at a disadvantage as well, because I didn't play Peace Walker a ton. I think I dipped after a short while, because I don't know if I was playing too many games at the time, but I didn't get very far into it. So, okay. I believe Chico, I think, is part of a resistance army in South America, to use a very broad description. And Paz, I couldn't tell you. I know she's a... what's the word? I almost, like, when I think of her, I think of some pop idol. That's what I think of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I get idol vibes when I think back to it, so...
Huh. Okay, then that's...
But in the context of this game,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I
prisoners,
genuinely don't know. It's just I'm so confused.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you think were the most and least fun for you? Starting with least.
Well, let's have a look at this here. So the most fun was probably the trophy in which you have to go through all of the scenes in the Deja Vu extra up, and that's where you play as PS1 style Solid Snake on a snow-covered version of the map.
Oh my god, okay.
So you're trying to recreate these scenes from the Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation, within the context of this game.
Oh.
And as you recreate these scenes, it does this sort of like Bollywood Indian soap opera style, like flashing camera movement around you with these famous quotes and scenes.
Okay, now, is that, like, does that pixelate the environment too, or is it just kind of your character with the addition of snow effects?
It pixelates you and the enemies. So they're all of the they're all the genome soldiers from Metal Gear Solid, and you are Solid Snake himself with that old school model there.
Okay, but the environments themselves stay like the HD.
They stay
stuff.
HD, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It's something else. I think you can get that costume in Phantom Pain too.
Okay, interesting. Huh. Alright, fair enough. I have not explored the side ops as my achievements kind of highlight there.
Yeah, this one definitely has the most fun factor there, so...
Okay, I will try to acquire some footage for the YouTube
Please do.
So what was the least fun for you, then?
Least fun? Ooh, let's have a look-see here. Because I remember having a blast with the whole game, so... I don't know that I didn't enjoy any of my time with it, but it might have actually been the Unlock All Trials achievement.
Okay, why is that?
I mean, because it involves marking every enemy on the map, I believe, and also for every mission as well.
Oh. Huh. Okay. And that just takes a long time?
It takes a long time, and you have to do it on easy, or I should say on normal and hard mode.
Oh.
I could be misremembering, but I believe it involves both.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. So, what is the rarest one on the list?
It's actually that one. It's the...
Oh.
And again, people I don't think wanted to invest that kind of activity in the game, so...
Yeah, it sounds kind of teased, sounds kind of just boring in general.
Yep.
I can see that.
It appears to be that way for me. I mean, I could be misremembering. I could have had a blast playing it, but looking back at it now, I think that would be my least favorite to go through.
Yeah, you're thinking, why would I enjoy this?
What possessed me to do this? Who is this man?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. It does sound like a bit of an outlier for you, to be fair.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you think was the most memorable achievement for you, and what kind of made it leave such an impression?
Oh, the most memorable, I think, and it's actually just tied to the main mission in general, was obtaining that Ground Zeroes one, the downfall, because the shit really goes down as you get that pop-up.
Mm-hmm. From what little I remember, that sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah, things are going to hell for you, and you you ain't coming back as the same man from it, so...
I last played... Okay, technically it says last played today, just because I'm going to install it for some footage. I last unlocked an achievement, though, on December 3rd, 2020. So, a few months short of 3 years ago.
Oh, incredible,
So
okay.
A lot more recently than you did.
Oh, yeah, big stalemate.
Okay. So, do you think there was, or what achievement left the biggest impression on you?
You know what? I think going back to the Reminiscence achievement, I feel like that was
okay.
Just because of the... I think at one point the mission devolves into like a quiz game.
Oh.
Featuring a laugh track and live audience.
What? Kojima, why? Like, I feel like I should just title this episode Kojima, why?
Please do.
But I'm going to reserve that for Death Stranding, because I feel like I'm going to be more confused by that one.
That seems to have, as bizarre as that game is, it has less of this than it does...
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, it has a more cohesive vision, I find.
Oh my god.
Well, as strange as that one is, this one takes a dip out of the tone if you choose to go for these other achievements, so...
Fair enough, okay. Huh. Okay, so is there an achievement, like, that you would remove from the game? One that you think is not okay?
No, I think all of these achievements, I think maybe just the Unlock All Trials one, because it does involve doing that sort of busy work tagging. I think I would remove that just for how not fun it is to try and do that. It like I could have enjoyed it at the time, but again, I think I would remove that one just for the sake of all those poor players. The 95.71% who didn't go for it. I'm doing it for them.
Or if they did, they gave up on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So do you think, is there an official way of playing that should be rewarded with an achievement?
Funnily enough, it actually rewards you for the way I would do it, which is doing it without getting any alerts and killing any enemies. So I don't. I think it's provided in terms of what I would like to see.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Because again, the map this time is very small, and there are a ton of enemies that outgun you at every turn. So.
Yeah, I remember experiencing that my first time.
Yep.
Is there any way to kind of soft lock yourself out of any of these?
Again, I never encountered that myself. I think motivation might be the only soft lock, quote unquote, to to getting yourself out of these. So.
That can keep you out of a lot more.
Yep. That's true for every game, really. So.
Okay. Now, how many times do you need to play the game to get all achievements?
Well, actually, this one, because of that unlocked achievement which I mentioned, you do have to play the game once in normal mode and again in hard mode as part of that all achievement. So you could be playing it a few times. Again, it's mission based, so you can go back in and dip in and out. But really, like to make an official count, yeah, twice I would say.
Okay. Sorry. Does the game feel rewarding to get all achievements? Like, in the process of doing it, do you feel like I've accomplished something?
I would say so. It certainly scratches that itch of stealth for me. This one, more so than the Phantom Pain, rewarded that aspect for me, so... Okay. I felt so, and again, that Reminiscence side-op was the icing on the cake for me. I'd say it felt great to be able to get in, and in some cases extract prisoners, and to get out of there without anyone really knowing where it'd been, right? So.
Okay. So does the game give you any sort of like in-game rewards for this stuff, or is it just kind of that sense of satisfaction?
Just the sense of satisfaction. Again, this one was more of a demo, so there's no real game-breaking permanent thing to unlock. I mean, it's possible. I know in a couple of missions you can become Raiden or Grey Fox, I want to say. I might be misremembering it, but I know you can certainly play as Raiden in this one for one mission.
Wait, like the Metal Gear Solid Revengeance Raiden?
Exactly.
Or like the traditional Raiden?
It's
oh my god.
The Metal Gear Solid Revengeance Raiden, and you're playing as a homage to the game Snatcher, which I don't know if you've ever played, but that's another Kojima sort of visual novel game for the Sega CD and PC Engine there.
Oh, I have not.
It's cracking. You're essentially playing as Raiden, sent back in time to eliminate an alien threat in the form of these Snatcher replicants who have taken over the bodies of the people on this base. So.
Huh. Okay, that's definitely Kojima-esque.
That is, yeah, and you might get to unlock that to play as him during the main mission, but I could be wrong. I could be way off base there.
So does it feel like Kojima cared about these achievements, or just kind of the same as Phantom Pain?
I think these ones don't quite feel as tacked on. Not that the other ones were tacked on, but they don't feel like you get them as organically as you would in the Phantom Pain. So that it encourages you to explore a bit, to go out of your way to get these achievements. So I think they thought about the placement of them this time, I think.
Okay, that's good. Do they require you to, again, 100% this game? It sounds like they do.
And again, yeah, I believe for all achievements, yes, you will end up 100% in this game. Whether you like it or not, so...
Oh. There's just a lot less to do in general?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Okay. So, do you think these ones feel unique in comparison to Phantom Pain, or no?
Only in the way that they're more specifically targeted. Of course, in the Phantom Pain, there's a lot to do, so they couldn't quite fit things in where you have to do a certain thing in a mission. So they feel unique in the fact that, yeah, you're being told this time to specifically do these objectives in a certain mission. Okay. Not just the mission itself. Because again, this one had a little less of that freedom aspect to it.
But in some ways had a bit more freedom in terms of what they could do with the achievements.
I think so, yeah. They had to have a little bit more fun with some of these extra ops too, so...
Okay. Now, did you use any guides when you were doing this, or did you just, again, go it
Oh no, I think
just free and solo?
again Gosunoob I think was my go-to for this one. I had to use a couple of guides because there's some where I'm like, oh crap, is this the optimal route for this S rank, for example? Or for the achievement where you have to escape the base with some intel on the back of a truck, for example. You can walk out of the base, but if you do it on the truck, that nets you an achievement, right? So.
Oh, okay. So, has this changed the way you look at the game? Like, do you regret doing this?
Oh no, I had an absolute blast doing these.
Okay, so I'm curious, just on a personal, what kind of what encouraged you, what made you say, I'm going to get all achievements for this one in particular?
I think I just didn't want to finish playing it.
Okay.
And again, if there's something I can do to get a quote-unquote 100% or to cement me having played it to death in the form of achievements, I will do that, just to tear myself away.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So, final question. Would you recommend other people play this and, go for all achievements? And is there a type of player that may kind of bounce off or may enjoy it?
You know what, I think I would recommend it, especially if you err on the more stealthy side of things. There's a lot more reward for that in this this Wii demo than there is in the other one, so. And you get to do some very crazy things in that journey, so.
That's fair. It's also a lot less demanding in terms of time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because I could do 20 hours in, like, a couple weeks. I could not do 300 hours in a couple weeks.
Yeah. No, you've got to be committed. You got to... you got to be on the Kojima train, man. You got to be on the Ruse Cruise full time for that.
Yeah, that's not no thanks for me, dog. Okay, well, that will wrap up our second attempt, and actually much longer attempt at this podcast. Hopefully this one goes through.
Fingers
crossed. A lot more
crossed.
security measures have been put in place. That being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for watching and or listening. One more time, if you're on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, subscribe. Help boost us in the algorithm. If you're on the podcast, again, subscribe. Check out the other the channel or the podcast, whichever you prefer. Thank you, David, so much again for being here.
My pleasure. Anyone in the comments, feel free to correct me if I was wrong during this episode. Again, my memory is very phasey, so...
yeah, again, correct me. I'm going to leave the Sega comment. Throw in all the Capcom, Konami, Sega hate, like just everything. Just pile it on.
Please do. Please do.
One more time, you can check out all of David's social media and commission page links in the description down below. Or just Google Voodoothur. You'll find him on most social media platforms. He does fantastic work. Again, any commissions you have done are between you and him. I'm in no way involved. So, I'll leave that up to your discretion.
He's so sweet.
With that all being said. Thank you. Again, everyone, for being here. Make sure to check us out on the 14th for an art table, 24th for the podcast. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Ta-ra!